Listen, let me tell you something about this Knicks team. They have the identity. They have the physicality.
We could wake up and the Knicks could be in the conference finals. That's a thing that can happen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. Season 2 underway. Episode number 2 of Empire State Hoops. I'm your host, Adam Rothschild. Alongside me, as per usual, every single episode, that would be Matt Vargo. And once again, today's episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So, it was a very eventful weekend for the New York Knicks.
Tell me about it.
And the days prior to it as well, which we will get to. First off, we had football over the weekend. We had basketball here on campus over the weekend. Lots of fun. We did a game together, so that was tons of fun. And going to Jalen Brunson, the All-Star Game starters were revealed last week. He got snubbed for Damian Lillard. Now, no disrespect to Damian Lillard. He's a great talent, but he's not the best player on his team. That would be Giannis Antetokounmpo. It would be him.
Yeah.
So I know there's an argument to be made. You were mentioning this before we went live about Tyrese Maxey possibly being in there, and I would agree with that too. I think Maxey has also been underrated, just like Jalen Brunson. But do you think, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think Jalen Brunson or Tyrese Maxey deserve to be there alongside Halliburton?
Absolutely. Like, I know Dame's been good, but he hasn't been, like, Dame from his Portland days, and it might be because he's taken a backseat to Giannis and is now the second option. But there are some games where Dame has just not had it whatsoever, and they've lost. And, like, Tyrese Maxey, and I guess you could say the same with Tyrese Maxey, but I'd argue Tyrese Maxey has had a better season than Dame, and obviously Jalen Brunson has had a better season than Dame as well. But, again, it's a reputation thing. Dame's got that. He's got that resume. He's got that longevity, and I kind of feel like I think all of the starters are voted on by the fans. I think the media has a little bit of a say in it nowadays, but I think combined with the fans, because obviously the fans love Dame, the media loves Dame. That's why he got picked in over Brunson and Maxey. I think Brunson and/or Maxey should have been the starting point guard.
We got to give a shout-out to some of the people in the media that have actually been praising Jalen Brunson instead of maybe saying he's not there yet. Kendrick Perkins being one of them. Of course, we have to appreciate Big Perk of what he's saying. And Charles Barkley said this on TNT, I believe, last week. I think it was when they were playing the Nets, maybe. I think that was...
Might have been, yeah.
It might have been that night, because that was the night the stars got revealed. And I believe he was mentioning something about, this is one of the best signings for the Knicks that they had in a long, long time. And... The argument went on as per usual, like it always does on Inside the NBA, and Shaq and Shaq and Kenny were kind of getting into it, like about how Shaq, when he was traded from the Magic to the Lakers, and Chuck made a good point. He was already Hall of Fame caliber because he got to that point up to the finals when he was with Orlando, made it to the playoffs several times, made a name for himself. So I think that's something that Jalen Brunson is trying to do.
Well, obviously, he's not there quite yet. It was a great first year. It was probably, it was definitely the best Knicks season in over a decade that first year. I mean, they won a playoff series much like 2013, lost in the second round much like 2013. I think starting next year onwards, because obviously he'll make it in as a reserve along with guys like Maxey and who else? I know the starters are Dame, Giannis, Tatum, Embiid. Who was the fifth?
I forget who it is, but I know Bam Adebayo is definitely a reserve. There's a bunch of other names out there that are definitely reserves, though.
Butler will probably be a reserve as well. But yeah, I feel like starting next year on, especially as Dame gets up there in age, and we'll see if Dame can bounce back for what's been kind of a down year. I think Jalen Brunson will be more in the starting point guard conversation in the East from this point on, depending on if Dame can bounce back or not. But I feel like for Dame, it was mainly a reputation thing why he got the starting nod.
And also for it being his first year in Milwaukee, they kind of, wanted to get him a little more of like a reputation, more of like a standout.
Oh, yeah.
More like just playing with a team that's like championship caliber, And of course, they made the coaching change, which we talked about last episode with Doc Rivers and everything.
That's right.
But now another thing. This happened during the Heat game, which we're going to get to. Julius Randle, dislocated shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the MRI. He's out for, they said weeks, not months. So we're hoping it's not too long. Matt, do you think the Grand Tour that you talked about last season is taking a halt? What should the Knicks do? What's the solution to keep this Grand Tour going before Randall gets back?
I have a feeling what they probably should do is kind of not really panic. Obviously, you don't trade for, another star. I don't think they would anyway, just to replace him for the games he's out. I just kind of feel like stay steady on this course because I want to show you the games talk about the games coming up. Utah at home, Pacers at home, Lakers at home, a lot of home games. Grizzlies at home, Mavs home, Pacers again, Rockets, Magic, 76ers. Not a super difficult schedule by any means, and they're already rolling, so why would you mess with something that's working? So just stay the course, he'll come back, and hopefully by then, with Milwaukee just kind of being up and down and the Sixers starting to fall apart because of Embiid's health not being right, who knows? By the end of it all, they could be the number 2 seed, and that's actually, look at it. They're only 2 games behind Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee holds the tiebreaker. I think they've won 2 out of 3 thus far. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, just stay course, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take, especially because you mentioned before about the tiebreaker. Milwaukee, of course, winning that tiebreaker over the Knicks with their 2 wins. And wait, do they include? I don't know if they include the in-season tournament with that or not, but
I think they do. But still, above All, the Bucks are 2-1 against the Knicks, so that's why they would hold the tiebreaker.
Just the Christmas Day game was the only one, so that's what it is for that. So now looking back at several of these past few games, of course they played the Charlotte Hornets last night, blew them out.
Oh yeah.
You had Knicks fans taking over like Charlotte, North Carolina was MSG.
Yeah, well, again, the city of not even the state of North Carolina. Like, why on earth would you watch the Hornets to begin with? I guess if you just want to see LaMelo put on a sideshow, but even then, he's not doing that great of a job. They're 10-35. Why would I mean, I don't know. I've only been to North Carolina one time. Go to the Outer Banks or something. Just do something other than watch the Carolina Hurricanes. They're actually good this year. They're going for a Stanley Cup. Why on earth would you watch this team? No surprise the Knicks fans took over that arena.
Yeah, there was a funny thing I saw where I think these fans these Hornets fans were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna come back, we're gonna win this game," and then these Knicks fans are in front. They're like, "Oh, are you actually joking?" They were laughing behind them. It was so funny, and there was a video of Hornets players on the bench laughing. Laughing, oh my God, we're losing to the Knicks. What's gonna happen? Is it the end of the world or what?
No, it was me. Well, the thing is, that game was actually a little bit close for a while. I think they were only up 4 or 5 points at half. Then the third quarter happened. Then the rout was on, and from there they just never looked back. It's kind of reminds me of the Chargers in the NFL, where basically every single game they play in LA is just taken over by visiting fans. And that's exactly what happened in that game. Just the Hornets, they're just a recurring punchline with sending their players to China and/or prison with how their season is played out.
We had this joke last season, of course, and of course you got Miles Bridges being back in that lineup after the time he had in prison, which was, kind of something.
Well, he didn't actually go, but still, he was in some legal problems, and I think he's on the trade block as well. I don't know where he would go, but it's another thing to look forward to, Hornets fans.
Yeah, I would expect still this never-ending rebuild for the Hornets. Just it's bad. But
have they ever won a playoff series since they came back?
The last time they were actually in the playoffs, I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
They played Miami that year. They lost in 7 games in the first round.
But I'm trying to think, ever since they came back when they were the Bobcats in 2004 or 5, have they ever won a series? They've made the playoffs. Have they ever won a series?
I don't think a series. I mean, I know of their old days when they were the OG Hornets, they were in the playoffs a lot, but they were playing the Bulls and they couldn't beat the Bulls because the Bulls ran the East, of course, back then.
Yep.
But now getting to 2 important games that happened this week. I remember watching this first game when they were playing Denver. We previewed this game,
Yeah,
and
we did.
I did not know if the Knicks were going to win or if they were going to get, hammered. So what happened was the Knicks go in, they get on a run, the run continues, it continues, it continues.
It never ended.
It never ended, and they beat Denver by, I think it was it 38 points?
38.
38 points! Beating the defending champs. 38, ladies and gentlemen, 38.
They scored 84 points, the Nuggets. It was to say I wasn't watching this game live. I think I was working on some homework at the time, and you just sent me the the Garden just going crazy and whatnot, and I was just like, they're down by 30 points and it's like mid-third quarter or something, and I looked into it and it's just like, what the hell happened here? And well, here's the thing. Jokic certainly happened. He had 31 points in only 27 minutes, 11 rebounds. Jokic was Jokic. Problem is, everybody else went MIA. Aaron Gordon, blah. Jamal Murray was awful in this game. He scored I don't think he scored 10 or something. I think it was 10 points. And Michael Porter Jr., he was awful. And, what more can I say? Every other player on the Knicks balled. Anunoby, Randall, Brunson, especially, 7 of 10, 21 points, pretty good. Even DiVincenzo, shout out him. He had a big game, hit 4 threes. So when that's happening and the best player in the world has his co-stars go nowhere, stuff like that happens.
Well, when you let DeAndre Jordan get into a game, it never ends well.
Oh, my gosh. I completely forgot DeAndre Jordan was in the NBA. Was he on last year's Nuggets team? I don't think he was.
He wasn't. The announcer was like, DeAndre Ayton, and then it said DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He was on the Sixers for a hot minute, too. He was also on the Nets when Katie and Kyrie were there. God, I thought he was retired after the Sixers let him go, but no, he's still around.
Ever since the Lob City Clippers. Goodbye, Prime.
Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, bro, DeAndre Jordan on those Clippers teams back then, he was a highlight reel. The man stole Brandon Knight's soul. I'm sure that clip we have all seen.
Yeah,
Love it.
literally just ended his life.
Wasn't he the same guy who got crossed up by Kyrie during the All-Star game?
Oh, yeah, that was the Rising Stars game, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
2013.
Rest in peace, Brandon Knight.
Yeah, that's not a good ending. And Saturday, of course, the game where Randall gets injured.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson went off. He went off and did it to Miami again.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Yeah.
Just like the in-season tournament game back in November. And it was unbelievable. I mean, back-to-back games, you beat both teams that were in the NBA Finals, the defending Eastern Conference champions, the defending NBA champions. What more can you ask for? The Knicks are just winning so many games. They've won 7 in a row.
Yeah. And the thing is, it was crucial that they did win that game because Miami has really fallen on some tough times now. I think going into that game, it was lost 5 in a row. They'd got blown out in Boston. Then, obviously, they lost to the Knicks on Saturday. Yesterday, they got curb-stomped by Phoenix. And again, that one was never really close. But yeah, the one thing that was surprising for that one is that, Terry Rozier, who they had just traded for, he was awful in this game. 10 points, 4 of 12 shooting. Jimmy, he was pretty solid, all things considered, but he had a -7 ±. But like you said, Brunson, very good. DiVincenzo had an off game, which was to be expected because he couldn't miss against Denver. And again, Anunoby, he's been balling out. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. What more could you ask for?
Well, you said it just like I said it. And the thing about OG Anunoby also, nobody knew about his offensive skills because he was in Toronto and he wasn't on a contending team. And now he's on a team that's contending for a championship, possibly in the future. And you see his offensive skills. Now, his shooting is lights out. Like you mentioned, the 19 points he scored, a lot of that came from the 3. So it was funny, too. The first game, when I watched him play in Minnesota, it's the same thing. He shoots so many threes, and they just go in. I don't get how they go down. It's just gets to his open spot. He's good when he's moving off the ball, and that's a guy that they needed, and they got that.
Yeah, and again, ever since then, it's, what'd you say, 13-2 they are ever since they acquired OG?
They only lost 2 games, I believe. Only 2.
Only by 5 to Dallas and 4 to Orlando or something. Now, Orlando is clinging on, but they are currently a playoff team if the season ended. So is Dallas, I believe, although, yeah, Dallas is the 7th seed, so it would be play-in, but they would make the playoffs, at least in my opinion. And, again, it's 7 in a row, and it could very well get higher. We'll see. They should beat Utah. Utah just got embarrassed by Brooklyn yesterday. Then they play the Pacers again, but again, that's going to be a shootout. Pacers aren't going to play any defense. And then the Lakers, once again at home, they could get it to 10 in a row because I think it was also last night, Lakers got embarrassed by Dylan Bricks and the Rockets. Got blown out.
Talking about that man that lost in the playoffs in that first round to the Lakers last year, after saying some man is old. He doesn't care if he gives you 40.
He's too old. I don't respect him until he dropped 40 on me. I'll poke bears.
The man gave you 40 and then just wins the playoff series and goes all the way to the conference finals, and that's what LeBron James does. But we'll get to LeBron and more of these games after our break, and we'll be right back in just a few moments here on episode number 2 of Season 2 of Empire State Hoops.
Hey there, basketball fans. Are you ready to take your love for the game to a whole new level? Well, listen up. We've got something that will make your hoop dreams come true. Introducing Sport Pros USA, the ultimate destination for all your backyard sport court needs. Whether you're a diehard Knicks fan or just looking for some slam dunk fun with your family, Sport Pros USA has got you covered. Picture this. It's a sunny afternoon in New York, and you step out onto your very own custom-built backyard basketball court. The court where legends are born and memories are made. A court where you can unleash your inner baller and shoot hoops like your favorite Knicks players. But it's not just about basketball. It's about family, friends, and fun. Whether you're hosting a game of horse with your buddies or teaching your kids how to dribble and shoot, Sport Pros USA brings the magic of the game right to your doorstep. Our courts are more than just a place to play. They're a place to connect, bond, and create unforgettable moments. And with Sport Pros USA, you can have it all, right in your own backyard. We're not just building courts, we're building dreams. Dreams of buzzer beaters, comebacks, and endless laughter. So why wait? Give us a call at 877-HOOPS-NJ or visit sportprosusa.com today to start designing your very own backyard basketball court. Remember, at Sport Pros USA, we believe that every home deserves a court, and every family deserves the joy of playing together. So don't just watch the game, be a part of it.
And we are back here. It's Season 2. It's Episode 2 of Empire State Hoops. I'm Adam Rothschild. Alongside me, as per usual, every single episode, Matt Vargo is here with us as well. And now it's time to preview these games, which we kind of sort of got into right before the break. But now coming off the break, we're going to talk a lot more about them. Tonight, of course, the Knicks play the Utah Jazz, a team that's in a rebuilding phase with some players that are possibly rumored of being traded, one of them being Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
And ever since they traded Donovan Mitchell, they've had a lot of young talent on this team. Not really contending for a playoffs, more of a rebuild mode right now. Not really much to look for, but they do have their two big men, Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler, who's also been a rising player. What is it going to take? Because you're going to have Hartenstein, you don't have Randall. You're going to expect a smaller lineup, especially at the forward spot, for who's going to match up with Markkanen. It can't just be Hartenstein. Who's going to have to fill in that void?
I have a feeling that as long as they maintain Markkanen, they're going to win this game going away. Like, that Utah team sold last night against Brooklyn. It got so bad that Ben Simmons in his first game off of a back injury, he looked like the second coming of Magic Johnson in 18 minutes. Now, I could rant for the whole second half about Ben Simmons, but I'm not going to go there. I would think you would assign OG to Markkanen because I can't see who else Tibbs would really want to throw at him. I would say give John Collins to Hartenstein. And for the guards, I mean, you don't really have to worry about the guards on Utah. Like, Colin Sexton, it's all right. Chris Dunn, yeah, he's a bust. But, yeah, if I'm Utah, I mean, I know they're barely clinging on to the play-in. It's just like, why do you want to stick around for this? Just, trade Clarkson. He doesn't fit the timeline. Maybe even trade John Collins. I know he was rumored to want to leave. Just trade those guys, enter a full-on rebuild, kind of like what OKC did around, and just make Markkanen in the center of the rebuild, if he'd be down to stay for it, that is. But they should win going away.
The problem with Utah all these years since, I want to say 1998, since the last time they were in the NBA Finals, those back-to-back years with Malone and Stockton, it hasn't been the same since Jerry Sloan left the building back in 2010, and that it just hasn't been the same. Nothing's been good. But then when they brought Quinn Snyder in, things got a little bit better. You develop Gordon Hayward, get other players around him. They do make a nice playoff run back in, I think it was, 2017? They beat the Clippers in 7 games.
Yeah, then they got curb stomped, and then that's the Mitchell and Gobert era that then started.
Yeah, and then that was another era that started, and then they trade Mitchell away and Gobert away, of course, and they got a lot for Rudy Gobert, and a lot of it is not much of it is there still, because some of it was traded away, some of it stayed, but otherwise, looking at this, Utah is still trying to figure things out. But
yeah,
I remember last year when they were trying to push, maybe they were right on the cusp of the play-in, and then they got, I think they played the Lakers like the last game of the year, and Lakers like knocked them out or something of it. Like they were like half a game out of it, and if they won the game, they could have gotten in.
I can look that up real quick. I think they were the 11th seed. They just missed out on. Actually, they were the 12th seed, 37 and 45. I think they just kind of sold at the end of the year because, I don't know, being in the 10th seed, especially in the West, like, at that point, you might as well just try to go for a lottery pick at that point. You're not going on any big run when you're that low. And even now, like, again, they're barely ahead of the Rockets and the Warriors. That could be another story, like a side story. Eventually, Warriors are awful this year. But, yeah, I think to wrap it back to the Knicks, just beat these guys. You're at home. They got embarrassed the day before. Just put them out already.
Yeah, of course, the main focus, like we said before, Lauri Markkanen and Warren Kessler. And the thing I love about Lauri Markkanen, he was an all-star last year.
He was,
and
yeah.
You think about where he came from in his career. He was drafted top 10 pick, right?
Like 7 or 8,
Yeah, by the Chicago Bulls, by the Bulls back in 2017, and ended up in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. He was good. He was good in Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, he got some good minutes. He was as a starter, and then he gets this role in Utah taking over, and he took center stage, and he's done a great job there. Like they had the All-Star game there last year, and it was good for him. But the Knicks are gonna have to take care of the Jazz. I'm sorry, Lauri Markkanen, if you're listening, but the Knicks are going to take care of the Utah Jazz. As they will, just like they did last year. And now getting into this next game, which is actually on my birthday this Thursday. So
happy early birthday!
Yep,
Adam.
thank you. That'll be exciting, and I'll be there watching the game as they host the Indiana Pacers, which will be another interesting game. Going with Jalen Brunson against Tyrese Halliburton.
That'll be a fun one.
That's going to be a nice one. Obi Toppin's return to the Garden.
Yep.
How is it going to go? Who wins? What do you think are the strategies for both of these teams?
I think that obviously you don't have to worry about the Pacers playing a gritty defensive effort because they're never going to play defense, as I said earlier. This team is always in a lot of shootout games, like against Suns. Like Devin Booker dropped 62-3, and they won, and the Pacers still won because they scored 133 as a team, 134 against Philadelphia. A couple other games they got close to 120, coming off a win against Memphis on Sunday. They're going to play Boston tonight. We'll see how they do there. But for this one, I just kind of feel like it's on the backcourt of Brunson, and I guess it would be DiVincenzo as the starting 2-guard, kind of seeing if they can hang in with guys like Hield and Halliburton, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a very exciting one. Will they win? I would think so, because obviously they just have better. I'd argue Indiana has the best player, but 2 through 4, they have the better collection of players compared to the Pacers. But I think it's going to be a really fun game. A lot of points, and we'll see how it goes down.
Yeah, it's another team coming out of a rebuild. And you talk about Tyrese Halliburton, where he came from. Same thing with Markkanen. It's the same exact thing. Drafted by Sacramento during the COVID year in 2020, and they let the man go. How do you let the man go?
It was understandable why they did.
Yes, it absolutely was. And getting Sabonis in the trade, I think it made sense for both of these teams. For Sacramento getting Sabonis, and then they go to the playoffs, of course, last year, which was nuts in Sacramento.
The beam.
And yeah, light the beam.
That was the best idea anybody ever implemented. After a win, just light a beam into the sky after every win.
Whoever came up with light the beam, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Demand a promotion from those guys.
Yeah, but now getting back to Indiana here, what I was mentioning before about Halliburton, I think it's such a great story too about like just getting a star player, like developing a player, like Reggie Miller getting developed, Paul George getting developed. Tyrese Halliburton is that next guy, I think, for Indiana. But you got to get at least one more piece around him, I think. And getting Pascal Siakam was that piece. That's another player I forgot to bring up. So he's also going to be an impact in this game, I think.
Yeah, I think that the thing is about Tyrese Halliburton, it's like, yeah, we all knew he was good when he was with Sacramento. But again, Fox and Halliburton, they both just needed the ball. They needed their own team. And I know it was looked upon as like a fleece at the time for the Pacers and like a big like dum-dum move for Sacramento. It's like the ultimate win-win now, in all honesty. Fox like balled out, became an all-star. Sabonis has been good. I don't know if he'll be an all-star this year. I don't know if he was last year either. I think he was. But Tyrese Halliburton, and they also signed him to a long-term deal, which is rare ever since Reggie, because Paul George eventually left that joint after a while. But I don't know, like, it's a very impressive job at being able to mold Tyrese Halliburton to what I think is going to be an MVP candidate, and it's now reminding me he is the 5th All-Star of the East. Like, I know we blanked a little bit. It is him. But for the Knicks, they'll have their work cut out for him. I think OG takes on Siakam. I think he can do it well. He's been all right ever since they traded for him. They've finally figured it out a little bit, gone on a winning streak, and they're not too far behind the Knicks. So I think overall, 2 evenly matched teams, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah, I would expect Indiana to be in the playoff mix towards the end of the season. Once we get into March,
They definitely
when we get into April and crunch time. So that's going to be an important time, of course. And get into this final game we'll preview before we close out the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's against the man, the myth, the legend.
Goat James.
The man who just decides to come into the Garden, win every time. He's got a star alongside him in Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a star-studded team with a bunch of role players, and he's on a franchise known as the Los Angeles Lakers of Los Angeles, California. And LeBron James against Jalen Brunson, the Lakers, the Knicks, who played each other in the NBA Finals back in the 1970s when the Knicks won 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to take? Because I think, honestly, this is going to be one of the more challenging games. Because last year, when these 2 teams played at the Garden, it was pretty neck and neck the whole way. But the Lakers, of course, and LeBron James, as he is, pulled away.
I have to feel like LeBron... When was the last time LeBron lost in the Garden as for any team he's played on? I think it might have been that first year with the Lakers and the year they, like, before AD and they missed the playoffs. I think that might have been the last time they ever lost at the Garden.
I remember this exact play. So he was driving to the basket down the left side, and of all players to block him during this rebuilding phase, I'll let you take a guess. Started his career on the Orlando Magic. He was a role player.
Oh my gosh. Is it? It
was the 2018-19 New York Knicks. Kevin Knox was on that team.
Frank Ntilikina.
It was not Ntilikina. He was on that team though. Mitchell Robinson's rookie year.
Was it Mario Hezonja?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. You win the $1 million prize, Matt Vargo. Excellent job. Yes.
LeBron, Mario Hezonja blocked you. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Anyway.
Yes.
This is a weird one because the Knicks, their front, especially with Randall out, the Lakers have the clear advantage in the front court with LeBron and AD. Although I know AD's like dinged up. We don't know if he'll play or not. I think he will. He's trending in the right path. But guys like Taurean Prince are obviously going to have to step up. I think Jared Vanderbilt is back from injury. Rui Hachimura's been playing all right for them. But overall, like, again, it's about your 2 stars. It's about LeBron versus Jalen Brunson. I mean, I love me some as Jalen, much as I love Brunson as a Nova guy, I love me some LeBron. I think King James comes into the Garden, puts on a king performance, and the Lakers walk away with it. That's what I'm thinking.
I would not be surprised if LeBron does that, but you also cannot forget D'Angelo Russell, who used to play over in the borough in Brooklyn for the Nets, who got them to the playoffs back in 2019. And he heard the trade rumors recently, and he decided to go balling.
He did.
And he was hooping and is still hooping like crazy. If we saw the Lakers when they played Golden State, I believe it was it last Saturday or Sunday? I forget.
Double OT game.
Yeah, and the double overtime game. Russell went crazy. And
He did.
if they didn't have those plays, Golden State would have won. And it's what you got to do. The Lakers have been doing a good job by taking care of their business, beating teams they're supposed to beat. That's been the thing right now. So beating a struggling team like Golden State down the stretch, I think was very important, definitely.
I think that they still. I feel like the Lakers as a team, because they're a very old team. I kind of feel like they're just sandbagging the standings. Like they're not really trying to gun for a top seed, because we saw them in the in-season tournament. Whenever this team has any kind of stake on the line, that's when they play their best ball. I think they went 5 or 6-0 in the in-season tournament games, and I feel like although it's not really a game of many stakes. Is this game on national TV, by the way?
Oh, it's on ABC.
Okay, then that's when you know that the world's watching. LeBron will be LeBron. You would think the other guys will step up. And quick side note about LeBron. Hit the 2 clutch free throws to put away Golden State. For those of you who say LeBron has no clutch, he's missing those free throws. Please, scurry away. I don't want to hear of you. LeBron is clutch. He's the GOAT. I'm sorry. That was a long ramble, but...
And as you were saying, yeah.
I don't know. I just think I'll see if AD plays. If AD plays with LeBron on top of Randall's injury, I think the Lakers will be a handful for the Knicks. I really do.
Yeah, clear advantage, definitely. And the Knicks, of course, they played the Lakers back in December on their West Coast trip right before Christmas and beat them on the road.
They did, yeah.
And that was still the Lakers' game. They had all their players playing, and it was just, it was an up and down game. The Knicks still had an advantage in that game, but I think if you're LA coming into this game, you're definitely going to have a chip on your shoulder and know that you have to take advantage of a team that's on a big run right now, who's won 7 in a row, and the Lakers are playing some pretty good basketball right now as well. So even though they're not gunning for a top seed, they're still going to be in that mix come playoff time. So I think that's going to be huge for sure.
I think that when they did beat the Lakers, was that the night the Lakers dropped the banner for the in-season tournament win? I think it might have been.
Yes, I think it was. I think so. Because the Lakers, they dropped it in December. I forget what day.
I don't remember, but it's just they dropped a banner. I mean, I guess it's cool that they won the inaugural in-season tournament. You dropped a banner for it.
You don't. No.
I don't think you do.
No.
Do you want to display the trophy? Sure. Why not? But it's you dropped a banner. I don't think they're gonna drop multiple banners. I think they just add the year to a singular banner where they won the in-season tournament. I mean, I guess that's better than that's a little bit better, I guess, than dropping a banner every single year if you win it or something. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really weird side tangent, by the way, thinking about that. The Knicks, I mean, I guess they spoiled the ceremony of the tournament win because, they went out there and they won.
The tournament that actually happened, that was the shortest tournament I think we've ever seen, and it is now over with, and now we are ready to continue the season with the All-Star break right around the corner in a few weeks coming up in February, and the Knicks are on a good stretch. We'll see how they do in these games. A bunch of more home games coming up, and, of course, that last home game that you were mentioning before, I believe, was against Philadelphia, February 22nd or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, it's been a fun episode. And this episode of Empire State Hoops has been powered by Sport Pros USA. For more information, visit sportprosusa.com or call 877-HOOPS-NJ to make your dream court a reality today. So, Season 2, Episode 2 is a wrap. I'm Adam Rothschild, and alongside me, as per usual, every single episode, every week, is Matthew Vargo.
That's right.
And we'll see you next week for Season 2, Episode number 3. Have a good one, everyone.
Peace.